Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I am your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Michael Huber.
Hello!
Ben Moore.
Hey!
My lovely co-moderator, Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
And making it all happen by starting the Zoom call in Slack, Ian Hink.
Hi!
Hi, everybody. First, we should probably address that if you have not been following the podcast or Easy Allies for the last month, Kyle Bossman has moved on to greener pastures. He has digivolved into whatever Kyle is doing today. I texted him today right before he started the podcast. He wished me luck, but Kyle's no longer with us at Easy Allies. I will be moderating the podcast for the foreseeable future. You can get more details about what I have planned for the podcast by listening to this podcast or listening to last week. Didn't do bets, though, last week, so we're going to have to kick off bets this week, creating brand new teams. And as we didn't talk about any gaming news, there are no corrections. There might have been corrections to things that I said, but I did not take any of them. But we do have a new game to kick off my tenure as moderator. 'Tis called Gaming Gladiators. Now, as all of you know, we have, or had rather, the top club for video game characters in Los Angeles, which we unfortunately had to close due to COVID-19. And so I want to come back in a big way. When this pandemic is over, when the work at home order is cleared and we are finally able to move back into the office. So I'm going to be starting a video game arena. And I'm going to be pitting video game characters against each other. And I'm asking our lovely community at the $5 tier on Patreon to pick the cards of who is going to be fighting. And it's real simple. I'm not asking for winners. I'm just taking bets. You know, I'm going to take bets when these when the actual cards come up, when people are allowed, when the website obviously launches for the arena, and when people visit the arena. But because all of you are within Easy Allies, I want you to get top billing. I want you to be the first to get in and place bets on the following matches. I got 4 matches from our community. First up, from Alexander Zirianov, Cortana versus GLaDOS. Ian, what do you think?
GLaDOS, no question.
No question.
She's way more messed up psychologically, you know? She's scrappy. She's not going to give up.
And
she's going to fight dirty.
All right.
Although
Hubert.
Cortana gets pretty weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, I'm not sure if that's entirely true.
It depends on what
weird.
Halo game you're taking Cortana
Yeah.
I guess the most recent iterations of these characters would be applicable. Huber, what's the bet?
I'm so sick of Cortana, so GLaDOS.
Oh, all right.
Spiteful bet.
Yeah.
Oh, GLaDOS for sure, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Ben?
Also GLaDOS.
Also GLaDOS. All right, that one was a little bit easy. This one's for Huber. Brandon Ray submits Nemesis versus Big Daddy. Ian, what do you think?
Nemesis.
Ooh,
You can't kill him. You can't kill him.
With
Big Daddy, you know.
Except
you knock
when
him
you
down,
do
he's
kill him.
Yeah.
Well,
take the hint.
And then he he upgrades. You got to kill
Huber?
him like 8 times.
Can't bet against Umbrella Tech. I gotta go Nemesis.
All right. Daniel Bloodworth.
Oh, yeah, it's stacked. Nemesis would just crush this thing.
All right, these are easier than I expected. Ben?
Yeah, this is not even a question. It's Nemesis.
Okay.
For
All right, hopefully this one's a little
Not even a
trickier.
question.
Hopefully this one's a little trickier. From Augmental, Bubsy versus Gex.
Oh.
Ian.
Similar logic to the GLaDOS Cortana. I think Bubsy, because he would fight dirtier. Gex would be like, you'd catch him like making quips, and then he would just like shoot him.
You don't think Bubsy's a little cocky? You know, he's
They
making
both
the
are?
comeback as he did.
Bubsy,
They kind of both are.
Gex
Bubsy
is
is
hungry.
constantly making quips as well.
That's true. I think
Yeah.
they would actually never get around to fighting. They would just like tease each other.
They time out.
Yeah.
Huber, what do you think?
I'm going with Gex on this. Sneaky Gex.
Yeah, using the tail, possibly?
I think he's
in
playing
combat?
a game Bubsy isn't even aware of.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
like
that's going to
Daniel
be possible. The greatest Bubsy dig would just be like, who are you?
Oh,
Bloodworth, what do you think?
Know you.
I think I'm going with Gex. And I think he's got a little bit of a anatomical advantage there with the tail and with the lack of ears to worry about. Those ears can get sensitive sometimes.
You got the fur versus the scales, too. One's probably a little easier to grab than the other. Ben, what do we think?
Oh, Gex for sure. Gex is not afraid of making it super dirty if he needs to. Like
Nice.
Gex is the kind of character that will do whatever it takes to win.
Well,
And
now I feel
finally,
left out.
from German scientist, Sackboy versus Tom Nook. Ian, what do we think?
I feel like when Tom Nook fights you, like some like bruiser shows up at your house at 3:30 in the morning and like smashes your knees. Like Tom Nook doesn't fight you.
So Tom Nook will have ads.
Dude,
is what you're
He
saying?
has his goons fight you. Yeah, he's a mafioso.
How could you do this? The day of my daughter's wedding.
The day of my daughter's wedding. So I think Tom Nook's like enforcers would probably take it.
For listeners, we lost Michael Huber for a bit there, but Huber is back. Hopefully
in
for the
action.
duration of the podcast. Good to have you back, Michael Huber.
Yes.
Daniel Bloodworth. Sackboy versus Tom Nook. What's it going to be?
Yeah. So what I was saying, my theory would be that Tom Nook wouldn't fight physically at all. He would just hand Sackboy a huge bill, and it would be calculating up all the cost of that crafting material, and it would just make Sackboy faint.
He would feel just somehow beholden to this strange bill that comes out of nowhere. Is that Tom Nook's power?
Yeah.
Sackboy's like, I don't even remember agreeing to this. And it's
Well, I mean, you just wake up in the morning and have a basement. I mean, like what?
It's true. He will get
It's
to
entrapment, yeah.
Sackboy will lose the match, but will get to go home to his basement. Ben, you have an intimate relationship with Tom Nook. What do you think?
I do. I also think it's going to be Tom Nook, but I think it's sort of like Bloodworth, but kind of different. He's going to get into the arena, and he's just going to use psychological warfare. And he's going to say, you don't want to win, because if you win, what are you going to spend that money on? Are you going to expand your house? Are you going to get all this furniture? What are you going to do? And so he's just going to give you too many appealing options, and you're going to break down mentally and give up.
Michael Huber. What do you think?
I love that. Yeah, bills are one of the most stressful, terrifying things ever. So it's gonna be Tom Nook.
All right, fair. One of the reasons why I absolutely had to get Michael Huber back on this podcast before we even dared to continue is kicking it off. Do you all know my favorite way to start a podcast?
Loot
I
boxes?
don't, but I think I know where this is leading.
Yeah. Any takers? Anyone? Any guesses?
Probably not game announcements.
Song and dance.
Marketing
Song and
campaigns.
We'll
Marketing
get there.
campaigns.
Yeah. Trailers, baby.
Oh, trailer.
Trailers.
Okay, got it.
Trailers.
4-minute and 11-second cinematic trailer. Although that's
Yes.
not fair. It's a little under 4 because it's just there's
Got
a
the-
little bit of tail
order.
at the end. And just terrible that like it ends with the guy's like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I thought the same
yeah.
thing, Jones.
Way out of nowhere.
No logo?
Okay.
A logo would work nice here, maybe with a little music, but I digress. We'll get to that later. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, previously referred to as Assassin's Creed Kingdoms, officially announced, official cinematic trailer, lots of details coming out. But I just got to get Michael Huber's raw reaction immediately. Go.
So freaking excited. This is a series that I don't think I'll ever be fatigued on. I could get an Assassin's Creed every single year like we have in the past for a lot of years there. And I'll just never tire of it because I love going to new settings and I love the Viking setting and I also love like old London and Europe. So this is like fusing many of my favorite things together. Like I'm just so pumped. Like immediate gut reaction is just pumped. And go ahead.
Are you putting your money on London? You think we'll go to London?
Not London or England, I said.
England,
so like, or
right,
like
right.
Europe, you're going to like Wessex and like Northumbria and stuff. They said. So just so pumped about that.
This was revealed with an 8-hour painting live stream.
Really?
Yes. What do you think about that, Ian? 8 hours of
I love
painting the
it.
logo.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was that long.
That's hilarious.
I did not watch the whole thing, but according to the internet, it was 8 hours long.
I tuned in at the absolute perfect time when they were putting the Assassin's Creed logo on the axe.
Nice.
It was perfect timing. I think they did it like dead last. It came right at the end.
Was it digital painting? Like
Yeah.
they're showing the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because he's kind of like repurposing elements. You know, he's bringing in a sky from this image, and a grassy hill from this image. So it was neat to get kind of like a behind-the-scenes look.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting build-up, and also interesting to do something unique with it because we kind of all knew this was happening. Blood, did that ruin it at all for you? Like, you know, I mean, what did you think of the trailer, and was that soured at all by kind of knowing what this Assassin's Creed was going to be beforehand?
No. I mean, I feel like we've somehow known about that for a long time. The Viking rumor has been widely reported. So, yeah, I think that may be one of the reasons they did it this way, is because there's no reason to pretend like people don't know what it is. So just, you know, kind of show it off in a different, unique way. I thought it was interesting, the narration at the beginning, when they're kind of doing this thing of like the reputation of the Vikings, but they're juxtaposing it with what their lives actually are like. The guys playing with their kids and stuff.
Loved it. And like the franchise lore of the Isu being these legendary gods, like we've encountered, you know, the Atlantis DLC, which was from Odyssey, like had a bunch of revelations about like the legacy of the Isu and like how humans perceive different religions and different legendary figures. So I'm really excited to see how that plays into Valhalla, to see, you know, where the Assassins and Templars are, to see if Odin himself is Isu. I think that'd be pretty intense, and that's like kind of what feel like that's where it's leaning towards.
As somebody who's played a lot of these games, Hubert, do you think the series has... Because I see people talking about how Origins and then Odyssey got a lot more into mythology and magic, big crazy beasts, kind of God of War vibes, and now we're like actually dealing with Vikings and they're talking about gods. Do you think they're going to lean more into that?
Definitely.
Do you think this is going to be full on God of War, or, you know, is that a trend you think the Assassin's Creed franchise is going for?
I think there'll definitely be elements of it. I think the Odin reveal on the battlefield there as he flew away was kind of hinting at like the ancient civilization and kind of that mysticism and magical element for sure.
Benmore, Huber said that this is a franchise he could never tire of. How about you? Could you tire of Assassin's Creed?
I feel like I'm in a really weird space. I think it's very comparable to like Call of Duty for me, where I really do enjoy Call of Duty when I make time for it, and I enjoy Assassin's Creed when I make time for it, and I really like Odyssey a lot. There's a lot that I like about Odyssey, but I there's sort of this inevitableness that's there with it, where if you come out and you're like, there's a new Assassin's Creed, I'm not like, what? Oh my god, I can't believe it. So it's hard to get, for me anyway, and I'm not as attached to the series as like you are or Huber is, where I'm sure I could get there after playing it for a number of hours, but I think just with this announcement, you know, I've been seeing Assassin's Creed announcements for like 11 years, so I think just going through so many, however many years it's been, just going through so many of them, it's not quite as exciting anymore. But
it's been more than that, Ben.
Yeah, there you go.
More than that.
More than that. However, I don't even know how long it's been.
I want to say it's 14.
Yeah.
And yeah, not only that, but we've crossed generations, and we will cross into a new generation. They are definitely primarily focusing on, you know, PlayStation 5 Series X.
Shout out to you, Brandon Jones, for making me appreciate cinematic trailers on a different level. Didn't annoy me this time around, and I just kind of accepted it for what it was, just painting the vibes. And I wonder though, maybe if because it had been leaked so much, if because they'd said, oh, it's going to be Vikings, that I kind of just went in like open to whatever they were showing. But the cinematic trailer itself was pretty cool, and I was here for it, Jones.
I think it's also... sorry.
You go.
I think it's also about expectations. You know, if you see a cinematic trailer, you have to question to yourself, like, what am I looking at here? What is this really telling me? How is this going to compare to the actual finished product? And I think we've had so much experience with Assassin's Creed that we kind of know that alchemy there. We can kind of see, like, okay, I know what they're referencing. I know, you know, what I can actually, you know, glean from this that will actually be applicable in the actual game. One thing I thought it was cool that IGN pointed out was a decapitation in the combat, which is like, the series has never gone there before, and just generally the combat was so gruesome, you know, extremely bloody, you know, lots of axe to the head, you know, blade to the eye.
Dude, when he threw that axe, that was my favorite part.
A dude throwing an axe into someone else, it's like top 10 for me. It's of just things. I just Last of the Mohicans, just it just. Just anytime.
Do you like the axe to the forehead, or like as someone is running away, axe to the back?
I think forehead is tougher to do, so I'd have to go forehead. Although axe to the back, very good. I'm not taking anything away from axe to the back.
I was watching this Resident Evil video last night, and they showed the clip where Leon throws the knife into Salazar's hand, and it's so good. You made me think of that.
Good. So good.
And he's just like,
Dude, that's awesome.
Huber,
Starship Troopers, put your hand on that wall.
correct me if I'm wrong, Huber, or maybe this is just fanciful thinking, but Odin, or who the guy said was Odin, looked a lot like Ezio to me.
Oh, I doubt that. That would be...
I mean, I don't think it is him, but I think that there was, like, shades, you know?
The fact that, dude, you're opening Pandora's box in my mind now, Ian. Like, what if there is a bleeding effect from all the anime? Oh my god.
See? That would be sick, dude.
Huber's internet goes out again, like,
Yeah.
it sounded like you said, what if there's a bleeding effect from all of the anime?
Yeah,
It would be a very different game.
We've already got that, yeah.
But like because Desmond dealt with a bleeding effect in 2 or Brotherhood or one of those. I think the end of 2, it's kind of the realities are bleeding, and that's a side effect of the animus. So I wonder how that's gonna play out. Ian, dude, you just opened up my syndrome mind.
But Ian, you're also tripping me out too, because I didn't think about the hood. You know, he's got the hood up. I mean, I immediately I thought, because it's like, that's a mysterious character, they don't want to reveal him. You know, you see a beard and that's it. But I think one of the things we always wonder with Assassin's Creed is when we're introduced to a new protagonist named Ivor, which will be male or female, which is cool. You'll be able to customize all sorts of stuff with them, put tattoos on. But you always wonder, how did this protagonist get the blade? How did they get in? You know, how did they learn about the creed? How did they? That's why Black Flag's one of my favorites, because it's a very unorthodox introduction to that world, and so that possibly it was through the gods, possibly it was through one of the ones that I'm thinking of. And again, I'm not based on anything I'm reading today, but like, wouldn't it be fun at the end if like someone was pretending to be these gods? You know, when somebody's like fooling these Vikings to do their bidding, and they're just like, at the end it's just like, no man, there's no gods, you nuts. Like,
could be somebody from the future doing it.
Yeah.
Glad you brought up the Hidden Blade, Jones, because that is a huge deal, that reveal at the end there, because in Odyssey it was the Spear of Leonidas. There was no Hidden Blade in Odyssey. So after taking a game off, it's nice to get that back.
A lot of people are complaining about the role-playing elements. They're frustrated that the series has been moving in that direction. I certainly was not expecting them to do a 180 and do something different. Having played Origins and Odyssey, Bloodworth, do you think that's benefited Assassin's Creed? Do you think are those criticisms something that Ubisoft should listen to and change up the game at this point, or?
I don't see them shifting away from that. Like, it seems like they've got themselves, a new winning formula. On this path, and for me, I feel like it kind of leaves me in the dust, because it results in absolutely gigantic worlds that I don't feel like I have any chance of completely diving into, particularly when they come out every other year. Just like, I don't know, it's just so much, and then they added all that with the DLC even too. I think the one thing that stood out to me, though, was at the top of the press release. I pointed this out to you guys in Slack, but it's basically coming to everything but Steam. Holiday 2020 on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Stadia, and for Windows PC exclusively on both Epic Game Store and the Ubisoft Store. So the only things that are left off of that are Steam and Switch, and we wouldn't really expect it for Switch.
And I guess not the Microsoft store, like Games Pass or anything on PC. Game Pass, maybe.
Maybe it'll be interesting to see the difference between those versions as well, because I read that they were the most excited about loading and dramatically reduced loading to just really up the immersion. And I wonder, like, is this going to be a case where if you have the current gen version, it'll be like 3-minute loads as opposed to like 10 seconds? Or like, how big is this technological gap going to be?
The thing I was wondering about while watching this trailer was how, if at all, the Ubisoft like back to the drawing board mandate affected this game. You know what I mean? Like,
It's been in development for 4.5 years, so
yeah, so which
know.
means it would have back to the drawing board would have happened while this was in development, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
So
the
I
same
wonder-
team as Origins.
Okay, I wonder if they had to change anything, or if the Origins direction was kind of where everything's gonna go, or yeah.
Huber, now I want to always say that the way that you said it, like, oh, this game is so immersive.
It's immersive. They've upped the immersion.
Oh, it's really, I really got into it.
you can shake your camera a little bit too while you do it. Then I think that'll have much
It's
more effect.
immersive.
Yeah, it's interesting because I didn't take that actually as a back to the drawing board approach, but more like our games just can't suck. You know, it's
Yeah.
like we can't take that for granted.
Oh, I see what you
And
mean. That
I think
thing.
I think that's kind of what happened with Ghost Recon is that it was a franchise that necessarily wouldn't get as much attention as an Assassin's Creed would, where
Yeah.
that back to the drawing board moment I think was Origins, and
Yeah.
so they were like, okay, this is the standard that we need to hit with all of these Assassin's Creed games.
And,
Yeah, it seemed like they realized that they were like making the same game over and over again, and they were like, we got to stop. We got to stop doing that.
yeah, Odyssey. I know I throw this word around all the time, but it really did feel like the culmination of like the entire like there's the base vibe of Assassin's Creed. You know, I feel like Odyssey was just like, all right, taking everything we've learned from all these games, putting it into one final culmination.
Huber, I want to pick your brain on this because somehow we got on a topic of Assassin's Creed today, probably because of the announcement and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, I really like Odyssey. And somebody in chat pointed out a critique that I was like, yeah, I think they're right. I agree with this. And they're like, it's really unsatisfying when you're trying to be super stealthy. And because of the RPG mechanics and the way that it's structured now, and you do get that backstab and you take off like a fourth of their health.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm like, yeah, that is really annoying and unsatisfying. And I feel like it kind of forces you into a direct combat approach in an unsatisfying way.
Mostly true, unless you like hard spec backstab. Because then you can do that like critical strike too, where you hold it and you do like extra damage. But yeah, totally, it should be a one shot, especially if you manage to sneak into a heavily guarded fortress and get the drop on someone. Like that's the whole like foundation of being an assassin, right, Ben? Like
Yeah. I totally get it because you have to balance the different approaches, but as a consequence, there were moments where I was just like, oh, I really wasn't that rewarded for, finding a safe path or whatever.
Yeah,
Right,
and taking that into this one too, Ben. What do you think? Like, I when I think of Vikings, I don't think of stealth or subtlety.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until this very moment, Ben. But like, those two words aren't generally Viking stealth. I
Right.
don't really associate in the same sentence. What do you think?
It would be really interesting if it was contextualized within the world where, like, for whatever reason, you become this assassin and you want to take that approach and you're with, your Viking brethren and they're like, what are you doing, man? This sucks. Like, pick up an axe and go. And there's some tension there. I don't know. Just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, maybe it's less about stealth and more about distraction. So like you send your dudes in, and then while all the chaos is happening, you go around, to a different location.
I like that idea.
Or
I like
I thought one moment actually that stood out. It's dangerous, Hubert. This is where I go with cinematics, which I shouldn't, because just everything I see, it's like it's a clue. And like I thought it was really interesting where he fights this big, English warrior, and then everyone kind of stops. Like the whole war kind of wait, this is the main event right here. I wonder if that's gonna kind of play into it because Blood in Odyssey, like I didn't get a sense. You reviewed Odyssey, right? Like I didn't get a sense.
No,
that,
I did a preview, but Hubert did a preview.
They had those really half-baked conquest battles, Jonas.
Yeah,
they were so half-baked.
And so I wonder if like they know that they're just like we can't with Vikings, we just absolutely cannot screw that up. So like I wonder if there's going to be kind of a more focus on what you are doing as opposed to just what the other soldiers are doing. I also didn't feel like any sort of ownership or like camaraderie with the people I was fighting with in Odyssey. It was just like blue team, red team, whatever.
Yeah,
Totally.
That's
so
how I
like, these are
want
going to
them
be
to-
your bros,
That's how I want them to market it. Fully baked conquest battles.
Fully baked.
Fully baked.
Well, and then when you get into that moment, like when you're both just standing off and everybody else is watching you, then it'll turn into a dance battle and you start doing windmills.
Yeah, I read something. There's like rap battles now. Did you see this headline?
Oh, I think I did see that. So I didn't pay much attention
It's
to it,
like
but I glanced at something that was like Viking rap battles. I
Yeah,
did
it's
see
like-
that on the internet. Yeah.
Based
Man,
on,
I
based
tried
on,
to do as much research as I could for this podcast, but
It's like-
I missed some stuff.
It's like based on Nordic, some like Nordic thing.
Nordic
This is not a bit.
dance battle.
This is not a bit. This is not a bit.
No, it's
What?
not a bit. It's not a bit.
It's not a bit. I
It's not a
promise.
bit.
Is this you looking it up, Huber, right now? Or are we just going to leave it at that? Are we going to,
Just leave it at that.
for my first podcast, you're going to leave me with that massive correction for next week where it's just like, I don't know what Huber was talking about.
All right,
Something
I'll
to do
get it.
next week.
If
Okay.
you do submit a correction,
Dance battles.
Future playable
you have
Viking
to do
rap
it in the
battles.
Nordic language.
It
Sail
says
acro-
that.
Yeah, that's the headline.
What-
Sail
what's
across.
your
Well, it's
source?
IGN's headline.
Ah.
Sail across the icy North Sea to discover and conquer the broken kingdoms of England. Immerse yourself in activities like hunting, fishing, dice, and drinking games, or engage in traditional Norse competitions like flighting, or as it's better known, verbally devastating rivals through the art of the Viking rap battle. So it's flighting.
Yo, dude.
Yeah,
that's
do that to
feel
your
about
enemies.
that.
It's probably just the Vikings that are doing that to
To
themselves,
each
right?
other.
Yeah, probably like home base or something.
Right.
Like,
Well, you said the magic word though, Huber. Home base. Have you heard about those details?
Yes.
Towns, Huber.
Yes.
Towns.
I know. I've missed this. I've missed this so much. Like pumping up your town, pumping up just like buying, like upgrading shops and everything. I remember in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, Monteriggioni, and obviously Assassin's Creed 4, your island. So adding even more stakes of like the Vikings are starving, we need to go somewhere else, like pumping up your settlement and trying to expand, like that sounds high stakes. And awesome.
You get a little tease of it in the trailer because when you see them kind of play fighting when they're at home, in the background you can see a couple structures that are under construction, and so it'd be neat if it wasn't just kind of like poof, helicopter comes in, drops a building, but it takes a while. Like once you actually like get the resources and get the wood and everything and the money and the people to build a structure, like every time you go back to your settlements, it's just a little more built out until it's finally done. And they talked about Eurogamer had a great article from Tom Phillips with lead producer Julien Laferrere, and where they talked about, Odyssey was lacking that, where you didn't really have, like, you kind of had a home if you followed the story. Like, there were places. I remember, like, one thing at the end, I was like, I want to go back home. And the doors closed. I was like, oh, okay. I, like, made a point to remember, like, that's my house right there. I'm going to come back. And they're just like, no. Everybody's gone. So, yeah, it would be interesting to kind of venture out into the world and then have this home base. Is that just, playing right into your heart, Huber?
1,000,000%. Yes, 1,000,000%. I'm ready to just play this game. I'm ready to just play, Jones.
Barracks, blacksmith, tattoo parlors, and weddings to forge alliances between clans.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yes. And they're going to take the dialogue choices from Odyssey one step further, and there's going to be decisions now, because in Odyssey it was just basically like a little more aggressive or less aggressive, and it wouldn't impact too much. Like, there was a couple quests here and there that would impact depending on how you responded. But this looks like it's going to take that way, way further.
And the marriages thing is interesting too, because that one of my favorite things in the trailer was that sort of Machiavellian guy, like worm tonguing it behind the English dude. Like, he gave him that like look, and you got the impression like, okay, the war was this dude's idea. This guy's a mouthpiece for this dude, and like the look on that guy's face when the main character killed that big boy, when he was like, oh, this isn't in the bag, like, uh-oh, I was wondering if, like politicking and stuff would factor in, and that sounds like it will. That's cool.
I kind of like the presentation of the Vikings as underdogs.
Yeah.
Like they definitely I love the VO in the trailer, and I think it really downplays how much England was afraid, of these Vikings. And the British guy you're referring to is Alfred the Great, King of Wessex. A fun little pull from Wikipedia. After ascending the throne, Alfred spent several years fighting Viking invasions. He won a decisive victory in the Battle of Edington in 878 and made an agreement with the Vikings, creating what is known as the Danelaw in the north of England. Alfred also oversaw the conversion of Viking leader Guthrum to Christianity. So yeah, a lot of this is this really fits well into the Assassin's Creed series, and they even in the interview have talked about, and just Ubisoft in general has talked about, like, Alfred the Great wasn't that evil as we portray him. Like, there are layers to him. He's not just kind of like mwahaha villain. But it'll be interesting to play him, to see how he plays out.
I wonder if your character falls in with the assassins somehow, and then you're friends with that guy who converts, and he becomes a Templar, that other guy. So you get, like, you're at odds with your friend or something. That could be interesting.
Ben, what do you think about the English as villains? Do you think it's kind of retreading old stuff potentially for the AC series, or do you think are you excited to fight this battle, or just be Vikings? Like, what's getting you pumped for this?
Was that to me?
Mr. Ben Moore, sorry. You've spoken enough, Huber.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of times the villains in Assassin's Creed let me down. Like, there are a lot of times I'm not that motivated to kill, or I the villain that I am targeting at that given moment, I just don't know enough about. So where they're from, whatever. I just want to care about it a little bit more. I think Assassin's Creed does a very good job of developing the people that you're playing as, and they can be immensely charismatic, and I care about them a lot, and they might have very personal stakes. But as far as the villains, there aren't really too many moments. I could just be forgetting, but there aren't too many moments that are jumping out to me. So I hope it's better developed.
Yeah.
In what other field of work could someone in a professional setting say, "I'm just not feeling motivated to kill"?
That's right.
Video
convince me.
I mean, I feel like that's what it's like as a chef. I'm just not
sure. This lot, you staring at the lobster, just like,
just not motivated.
Just not feeling it tonight. Sorry, tell table 11. It's not going to happen. Obviously, nobody talks about the joy of killing more than Michael Huber amongst the group, but just some other fun details.
Oh man, going to Barnes and Noble and seeing like featured art author, The Joy of Killing,
with a pipe and glasses and a sweater, just like, thank you. Yes.
Would you like me to sign that?
Make it out to my daughter, like. Yes. Yeah. Some other fun details. The Raven is going to be, your bird this time. There's a bird in every trailer, and it's interesting. It didn't start with the bird. It starts with. Starts with those Vikings and starts with the boats. But interesting that, whether that is Odin or not, that there is a person that potentially is becoming that bird that also kind of fits into mythology. So it'll be interesting if maybe that's a character, that not only do you have this bird has a lot more abilities, which they've kind of teased at, as, they did in Odyssey, so like scanning environments, potentially attacking enemies or distracting them. But then, that Raven flies down and then actually becomes, Odin or another character who then communicates with the protagonist. I think would be interesting. You got the Viking longboats, which they didn't touch on this, but I thought was super cool.
There's one right here.
In Odyssey. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. They touched on, there's not going to be a lot of naval combat, but one of the things that seemed like a big tease for me is like multiple longboats come up on that beach in the trailer. And so I wonder if you're going to be able to like sack. They talked about if you're sailing and you see something on shore, you can go and attack it, just kind of like Black Flag and some of the other like seafaring games. But it'd be interesting if in some of the bigger fights in the game, if you actually bring like multiple. You don't just like as in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's just like, oh poof, we're now suddenly in this arena and we're all fighting and okay, that's over. But like you can kind of plan, okay, like or see just the big campaign, going towards the beach.
Like those For Honor sieges. I wonder if any of that tech or any of that just setup is going to go into this game.
Certainly For Honor must have inspired something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's, certainly this is something that Ubisoft, they got him on the phone for something. Present day still playable. With same characters. If you are, again, don't want to get too much in those details if people haven't played Origins and Odyssey, but like they are continuing that. They're looking to make that more interesting. That wasn't necessarily my favorite part of Odyssey. Anything kind of left you hungry there, Huber? Do you think they could do more of? Or you just kind of wait and see?
I'm just waiting for the one moment that really ties all this together. They clearly, as a player, I feel like they didn't know where they wanted to go with this franchise.
You're
Whether that's true or not, that's how it feels playing these games.
True.
But I feel like specifically with Origins and Odyssey, it feels like they have a plan now. I just don't know what that is. So I kind of want them to just like either wrap it up or I don't even know. Like wrap it up or have some big connection or something to.
Just like Vikings and Stealth, wrap it up in Assassin's Creed. Just don't. They don't. They don't gel. I just want you to set your expectations at a reasonable level, Huber. I don't want you to be hurt.
I know. I feel like they could really do something cool to tie it all together. I feel like the potential is there. I just don't know what that looks like.
It's been there since. Since it's been there since the beginning. I still remember that the first moment when I went over to my friend Doug's house and I was watching him play Assassin's Creed and all the Animus stuff, like digital stuff, was happening, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Because it was not advertised at all. We all just thought it was set in that time period, you know. And he was like, "Yeah, there's this dumb like crap on top of it."
Yeah,
it was
like,
even in the
okay.
first. That's why it's one of my favorite trailers. Even though the very, very, very first Assassin's Creed trailer, there is a little glitch. Like there's a little like artifacting, you know, when you see it, the little like rewind, you know. So like I remember at the time, like people were like, "Whoa, what's going on there?"
Because like there's nothing like it, and it's why I love the MCU. And it's like, yeah, you can analyze every single one individually, but at the same time, it's designed to be one massive thing, you know, and you can call it consumerism or whatever, or, you know, blowing up your franchise and making it more important than it actually is, but there's just something about, like, the little Easter eggs that always kind of pop up here and there, you know, that just make it just so rewarding. Just love that.
But it's the most satisfying when it's planned out. Like,
Yeah.
if the Animus stuff had all led up to something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember which game was it? The last one I played, it was just like a game company.
Oh,
something.
Black
Flag, yeah.
Black Flag, yeah. And I was just like, what the hell's going on with this? Because I hadn't played a few games, and I jumped in for Black Flag because it looked like fun, and I was just like, what? This is what happened? What's going on?
Like the Assassin's Creed Liberation game is in the universe a video game designed by Abstergo.
Yeah.
It's
Abstergo,
weird.
yeah, that's right.
It's so weird.
Huber, I actually think that's part of the reason why I fell off is because that through line just disappeared. Where I was like, I don't necessarily need to play this because it's not going to give me the answers that I'm looking for. And I think once you get invested and you reach that point, it sucks. Like you never want to reach that point with anything. Like you want them to continue what they initially set out to do, or keep you on a hook in a similar way. And so that lack of a through line I think really hurt the series for me personally.
Totally
Huber, would you want it to be like, let's say it happens in Valhalla where they wrap up that whole storyline, or would you want it to have this game lead into Assassin's Creed Future, the one that everyone keeps thinking it'll be, you know?
Yeah, I want to know going in when it is the finale. Is that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want them to like build it up and then have, you know, the Assassin's Creed 5 with the Assassin's logo, like it's already ready to go.
Oh my
you
God,
just flip
yeah.
that.
Oh my
flip that
God,
logo upside
Huber,
down.
yeah.
You're like, Assassin's Creed 5 finale. Like,
That's too good. Call them up, dude. Call up.
But even Endgame wasn't the end of the MCU, you know. So like, ending, you know, like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed ending.
It ended. Yeah.
And did you like Black Flag, Ian? Were you a fan?
Yeah, I didn't
one of
beat
my
it, but I
faves.
loved the boat combat stuff.
Ashraf Ismail is creative director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, who is known for Origins and Black Flag. And they said 14 other studios are involved.
Whoa.
Don't know
That's
who those.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, don't know who
Capcom
those studios
Ohio.
are. Don't know if a lot of that stuff is you know, in-house, so to speak, within the company. But it's kind of, that usually works out. I can't think of anything where I heard that, like, okay, let's get as many people involved as we possibly can, and then like maybe the story's not good or something, but the game doesn't end up delivering like a pretty big world. Red Dead Redemption was just like all of Rockstar Studios were on board. That usually means they're kind of putting all their eggs into that basket and they want to deliver a good product. But yeah, it's fun, really great trailer and lots of fun news on that today. Speaking of fun trailers, thank you to have Ben Moore, who's a fan of this, and Ian Hink, who's currently playing the original right now. Finally got a new trailer, but specifically got the release date of Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise.
Jones, did you see this trailer?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I wrote down Mad Men meets True Detective season 1 vibes.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it seems like they just threw the opening credits sequence out as a trailer.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Most likely.
But is there anything you can glean? Because again, the True Detective, I guess it takes place in New Orleans, or part of it does. I guess it's like a prequel and sequel, so it bounces back and forth. And so you see like a little bit of the swamps, from what I have seen, and it is very little. I played a little bit of it. I remember we streamed it one time or something. But it really is the environment, that's kind of one of the big sells. Obviously, the story and the characters are strange, but just kind of navigating this bizarre world. And so just as in True Detective really kind of tried to play up, there are things that happen here that nobody hears about. There are areas that like people don't go that often. Carcosa, it's like there are dark corners of this world even today, even in modern society. Like it's very easy to hide a body. It's very easy to get away with a crime. And so I wonder if I've seen a lot of people online saying that Sweary's like this man's probably seen True Detective season 1 more than once.
Well, that's the thing with Deadly Premonition is how well it apes the spirit of Twin Peaks. Like I think a lot of things try to get the Twin Peaks style, but it ends up feeling very superficial. But there's a strong understanding of kind of what makes that sort of storytelling special, and Deadly Premonition nailed that. That being said, there are very few games that I think are as difficult to speculate on as Deadly Premonition 2. Like, you could say anything, and there's a chance. Like, there's a chance that it could happen.
Yeah.
So, I rewatched the gameplay trailer before this podcast, though, and I read into this interesting mental crossroads where I was looking at it, and they show just, like, a sliver of gameplay. And I'm like, that kind of looks rough.
Yeah.
Will this be as rough as the first game? Do I want it to not be rough? Like, what exactly do I expect and hope for out of Deadly Premonition 2?
Is roughness part of the DNA of Deadly Premonition? Is that part of its charm?
Yeah, it is. Ian, I don't know if you could speak to this, but the joy of Deadly Premonition was not the gameplay. It was, except kind of, when it was really bad.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to describe, but Deadly Premonition, I think, had a surprising kind of emotional center where you sort of have this moment where you're like, I really care about what's going to happen here, and it kind of catches you off guard. And then The Missing, I think, really reaches some amazing emotional heights.
Yeah.
A lot deeper than most games have managed to get to, and more people should play that game. And so I wonder where Deadly Premonition 2 is going to go, because I think the worst thing a creator can do is try to, like, ape something that never needed a sequel in the first place. Like, trying to recapture that magic. And I think Sweary is smart enough to not do that. Like, I think he's only going to make Deadly Premonition 2 if he has something to say. And based on how affecting The Missing was, I hope that takes me to even deeper places than, The Missing and Deadly Premonition 1 managed to.
And I think the fact that it's a prequel sequel combo kind of speaks to that. Like, it's an unorthodox approach that to me says, like, okay, there's something that Swery wanted to do that's in kind of an overarching, like, he wants to make a trilogy but didn't make the first one first. He made the second one first or something, so it's like there is something else to it. Yeah. And I hope that it is. I hope in a way it takes after Twin Peaks again in that Twin Peaks season 3 is kind of about the Twin Peaks season 3 that the viewers wanted it to be and how it isn't, you know, in a sense. And yeah, so I hope he kind of gets meta like that with this one. But yeah, it's funny because you don't want it to be a polished, perfect, well-running engine, sort of. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we just talked about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you know, this is not coming to Switch. This cannot come to Switch. You know, where it's interesting to have these games where he's like, I'm just not gonna waste my time doing that. You know, I'm gonna make this something that this can be played by a lot of people. I'm gonna make an engine that like I know I can produce the game I want to make with. What were you saying, Hubert?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that seems really hard to do. Is try to make your game janky on purpose. But
No, I don't think it'd be on purpose.
Listen, I hear you, Huber.
Yeah.
He nails it.
He's made an art out of it.
Janka's art.
Career out of it.
He has made an art out of it.
Like
Yeah.
for like what do you like a sequel to recapture that? It just seems like I hope there's a behind the scenes documentary on like the pitch or like day one.
It'll probably be within the game.
Whenever you say prequel, though, I do get nervous. Like,
Yeah.
what I guess trying to articulate that, I don't want Deadly Premonition to get swept up in its own lore. Like, I don't want it to be this huge, expansive thing that gets too complicated for its own good. I think what makes Deadly Premonition 1 so good, just like Twin Peaks is so good, is, I think specifically season 1 of Twin Peaks is, yes, it's crazy, it's kooky, and it gets convoluted, but like you get attached to the characters. Like, in spite of all of the weirdness that happens, you just enjoy watching individual scenes with those people. Like, I don't want to be playing Deadly Premonition 2 and being like, okay, wait a minute, I gotta look this up. Like, that's not the experience I want to have. I want to be able to appreciate Deadly Premonition 2 in the moment for what it is.
Yeah, like you don't. Deadly Premonition is not a thing that needs to be explained or like overly explained. Like, the best moments in Deadly Premonition, you're just like, what? All right, here,
Yeah.
like, fine, let's go for it. Like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, the flies better return, because Don and I have an all
Flies.
fly run going, and we got to keep that all fly run going.
They go even deeper on the hygiene.
Oh my god, dude! Wait, I hope they do.
No, I
Do you know something?
No, I don't know. I'm just
Oh, okay.
saying, speaking, speculating.
Yeah.
Bloodworth, July 10th, 2020. What do we think about that date? Is that a good date?
That's a good date.
Is that competitive or is that he likes
Good
it?
day.
It's also Last of Us 2.
Well done. Last of Us 2 goes to Tsushima. Everybody, you get a date. You get a date.
Wait, is that the same day as Last of Us 2?
I don't think it's the same date, but isn't Last of Us 2 July? So this is also
No,
July.
I think Last of Us is June.
Last of Us 2 is June.
Tsushima is-
Tsushima.
Oh, Tsushima. I'm sorry, I mixed up the
Okay,
two.
yeah.
I mixed up.
I
the
was
two.
like,
Yeah,
I was
Last
like
of Us is
swearing no.
June 19th. Tsushima is July 17th. So yeah,
It's got a window.
it's got a window.
you got a couple days to beat this before Tsushima comes out.
This probably 60-hour game. Is
I'm
it
still
Switch only,
mentally
this
blocking
thing?
the Last of Us release date.
Yeah.
Blocking it. I don't believe it yet.
Right?
I don't want to go down that road of delays.
Yeah. This time I believe him. Mm-hmm. I believe him. I think that game is done. I think it's ready.
Is
'Cause-
Deadly Prem? It's a Switch exclusive.
Is it
right?
Switch
No.
only?
No.
So it's on 360. It's on PS3. I think it might be on
It's on
PS4.
360 and PS3?
Yeah, it started as a 360.
Oh, you mean the original game? I think he's talking about the...
I meant
Oh.
2. Did I say 1?
Deadly
I meant
Premonition
2.
2.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was
meant 2,
talking about
sorry.
Deadly Premonition 1. My bad.
Is 2 Switch exclusive?
They've been promoting it, but I don't think it is.
I would be surprised.
Let me take a
For
look.
That's a great
second-
question here.
For a second, Ben, I thought you knew that you were talking about Deadly Premonition 2, and I was fully just like, yeah, they probably would put this on PS3.
on 360. Yeah, like that
July
makes
10th,
Yeah.
exclusively on the Nintendo Switch family of systems. So yeah.
Oh, baby.
I'm getting the
Wow.
Wii U version
Family
of
Getting the
Deadly Prem.
Wii U version.
In 5 months, Blood actually discovers Deadly Premonition 2 on the TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Deadly
Yeah, you have to
Premonition
put it in
2 is coming to Switch, but it is optimized for the Wii U.
Right.
Superior version.
But it's
Like,
interesting.
please use your
you-
stylus.
You talk about, having expectations for this, and like the thing that's fascinating to me is, especially Nintendo swooping in to make something like Bayonetta 2 happen, and Bayonetta 3.
Praise it.
It right, and considering how long it's been since the first Deadly Premonition, it feels like something that's happening because people have ideas. It feels like something that's happening because there's a specific, Nintendo was sold a pitch that they liked. That Swery has a concept that he wants to realize. I just don't know. Specifically, just bringing it back around full circle to this trailer, other than the date, was just anything good come of this trailer? Ben, you seemed a little frustrated with it.
Oh, no. I was the exact opposite of frustrated. There was just a moment where a random lady was twerking in weed underwear, and I was like, this is it. This is the goatee. Right. Nothing will beat this.
This is the
Mafia
goatee.
3?
What about this skateboard element? I'm seeing skateboard a lot in this press release.
Ooh.
Very likely.
Probably a skateboard. It's like,
Probably a skateboard.
No. It says you travel around town of Lakar by foot or skateboard. Customization includes upgrading your skateboard for improved speed and landing more difficult tricks.
Dude, Tony Hawk
Praise it.
Premonition.
Oh my god, dude. Well, I bet that because I think in the future, modern day, whatever you play as a young lady, maybe she skateboards, and if you're playing as York in the prequel, you drive.
He tries to.
He
but
also
doesn't.
probably skateboards.
He probably also He is a skateboard.
Ride me.
Zach.
We don't have time.
Zach becomes a skateboard.
Thinking about it, this is a game that will probably be heavily gifted on social media. So I recommend going in as blind as you humanly can.
The thing I'm already worried about is because Don and I have been playing this piecemeal, the first one piecemeal on streams, and like I want to devour this game, but I also don't want to leave Don behind. So like I'm just gonna have to like lock myself in a stream with Don for like 3 straight days or something. Like, how am I gonna play this damn game?
Don is in the game, so you
Don
don't need to
is
worry
the
about.
game.
Yeah, Don. Yeah.
But that's always so satisfying to, have a game that is beloved by some of the allies, and then have other allies fall in love with that because some of the allies talk about it, and then bam, we get a sequel. And it's just like, we're all, the OGs are excited about it, the new kids are excited about it. I'm excited. I don't know if I'll make time for Deadly Premonition 2. I have not made time for Deadly Premonition 1, but like, I'm excited.
Your hand might be forced when Game of the Year comes around.
No!
Sorry, Last of Us 2.
That's the man who gave Half-Life Alyx a 10. I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's right. I'm giving this an 11.
We're just starting, folks.
Yeah.
We're not even halfway through
that was this
2020.
year. Shit.
That
was a month ago.
I already see Best Story and then Deadly Premonition 2, and that's just like the funniest thing. Like, it may actually legitimately deserve it, but it's also hilarious.
Best character?
Yes,
Best
definitely.
soundtrack?
Best ensemble.
Oh,
Best
yeah.
soundtrack.
The soundtrack of Deadly Premonition 1 is phenomenal. Yeah.
Good to bring up, though.
Off-key singing.
This opening theme, The Deep South, by Satoshi Okubo, who mostly did music for Mario Party, according to IMDb. Cashel sang the song. Cashel? I don't know.
Wow.
Cash and Hell put together in all caps. Would your hope be that the same? So I don't know if Satoshi Okubo just recorded this song or who specifically is doing the music for Deadly Premonition 2. Is that a sticking point for you, Ben, to like have the same person do the music?
No, it's not a sticking point. I guess it depends on what they're trying to go for, right?
Yeah.
Where I don't know what the vibe of Deadly Premonition 2 is going to be.
Yeah.
So I guess it would maybe be more of an issue if it was trying to be very evocative of the first game and, the music sounded off. But if it's going for something else entirely, then, I expect the soundtrack to follow suit.
Like you said when we started, the expectations, keep them, let them go. Let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy to me is because I'm playing the, what is it actually called? Origins? Deadly Premonition Origins, I think?
On Switch.
On Switch, yeah.
Switch. And I'd never played the original, so when I rewatched the announce from the Nintendo Direct today for the podcast, for some reason I was surprised that it looks almost exactly the same as I'm used to it, even though it's like an old game. I'm playing the new version of it, but it's just like something felt right about that it like still looks old. Like coming out.
That game looked old when it came out.
Oh yeah. It's perfect. It's perfect.
It actually launched on the 360 at $20. That's how much it originally cost.
Deadly Premonition?
Yes.
It is a game without a generation.
Yeah.
It belongs to no console.
It's for all people. A man of no country.
Deadly Premonition is the weirdest game recommendation because it's like, yes, it's terrible. You have to play it. It is a must-play game. Yeah.
Do you love broken trash that's beautiful and perfect?
Yeah.
Then have I got a game for you.
And now...
It's called The Missing.
And now, a word from our sponsor. If you're bored in the house, why not play with your balls? Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you and your partner are playing with them. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls, thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming. While you're probably looking for new things to do at home, why not make manscaping part of your routine? Now, I actually just recently shaved this morning. I grew a beard for a couple weeks. That was fun. It stopped being fun, so I got rid of it.
You're looking young.
Thank you. Manscaped did not help me shave this beard.
I was going to say, not what that's for, Joe.
Primarily in Manscaped for other things, but Ian Hank can provide some information on the joy of Manscaped.
Definitely that trimmer is good. I use it. It's good. I've had a lot of trimmers. I actually bought a trimmer right before they sent us one, and this one blows that one out of the water. So, like, legitimately. So, I recommend it.
What'd you do with the old one? You just keep it for funsies, or check out
it's
the
in
window?
my I have so many different shavers and trimmers, Jones. It's absurd.
Nice.
They just kind of lay around.
Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0, precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You're probably sitting on the couch with your hand on your balls anyway. Might as well keep them smooth as eggs and smelling fresh. Subscribe to the Perfect Package and get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. For a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag $39 value edition and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped boxer briefs. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code ALLIES20 at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code ALLIES20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code ALLIES20. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thank you, Manscaped. If you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. I want to save this for friend code and certainly for Mr. Michael Damiani, but I think it's fascinating because it's like every week there's another development of what is going to happen or what is not going to happen in June when we all talk about video games. And it seems like there's more updates of like Sony might be doing a thing, Sony isn't going to do a thing. Nintendo is not the company that I thought we were going to hear from for them not doing something. According to VentureBeat, there will be no Nintendo Direct in June. No update from Nintendo in June, according to VentureBeat, which you mentioned Bloodworth was the lead on this story. Did they break this?
Yeah, they seem to be the source that everybody else is pointing to in terms of this report. This has not been confirmed by Nintendo yet. That could happen any second, who knows? But as of right now, this is just a report that's coming out of other sources, third parties that are being told that Nintendo doesn't feel ready. That they don't feel like with their challenges of having people work from home that they can make a bunch of announcements for games that are going to come out this fall because they're not necessarily sure that they're all going to come out this fall. So that's and VentureBeat also went into some more details about like why like culturally like work from home isn't really a good fit for the Japanese workplace, and so there's just a lot of things that like people don't have PCs and Wi-Fi's at home because they don't need them. It's like they have their phones and they do a lot of stuff on their phones.
And they said, again, I don't want to get too much into culture. Maybe Ben can, because you've done quite a bit of research on Japanese culture. But
yes, my shonen anime has taught me.
We're getting this report from them telling partners potentially that it's a no-go, which is why word might be getting around. But they also talked about how face-to-face meetings are very important, in Japanese culture, and so that's something that it is very difficult for stuff to get done digitally. But I don't necessarily want to speculate on a lot of that stuff. I just want to speculate on what this means for Nintendo, because we've recently talked on this podcast about how potentially we're going to be getting an avalanche of Mario, games being brought back, into our hearts and minds and eyeballs, via the Nintendo Switch. Huber's excited about that, but hey, if this Direct is delayed, maybe that announcement's delayed, maybe those games are delayed. How does this make you feel about that?
No rush. I mean, it is what it is. We have too many distractions as it is. So really, when anything gets delayed, it's no big deal. Just focus on something else.
All right, Huber's got enough games. How about you, Ben?
I think this is a tactical decision. That's how I would phrase it. I think they just want more people to focus on Xenoblade, and rightfully so. And so, nothing to do with the virus. They just want people to play Xenoblade. No, I mean, it's hard not to be understanding. Like, I think it would be hypocritical for us to be like, what? This isn't happening? Sure. When, we as a company have had to do a lot of things just like that because of the reality of the situation. And I think everybody has had to change plans or have things not work out in quite the way that they wanted to. So, I love Nintendo Directs, of course, but I get it.
For me, I think the relationship between Nintendo and E3 is a real important thing here, and I think it can work from either side. I'm not sure, sort of exactly how this story plays out, but either A, it plays out the way that we kind of see it, where like E3 said, hey, we're not actually going to do anything digitally. And now Nintendo's like, well, we don't have to, so why push ourselves to, right? If the ESA isn't going to do a digital event, we don't really need to be there, so just call this off. Let's just wait. Let's do it later. The flip side of the story could also be true, to where like the ESA was going around and trying to get partners, and everyone's like, oh, I don't know, tell you in a couple weeks. So but there's definitely a relationship. There's a thing there to where, without an overall like umbrella for E3 Digital Week, then why hold to that week?
Yeah.
I mean, if you planned to, I guess would be the thing. It's like, I wonder how much this is derailing, the
But your plans are derailed.
Oh, totally. Everybody's are. And I think that's the thing. And again, I completely agree with you, Ben, that like I this is not something I fault Nintendo for. It's just kind of a general surprise. And I guess mostly a curiosity, because I look at all of these companies. I look at Sony. I look at Microsoft, with the challenge of potentially we have no idea how long, this pandemic is going to last, how long we're all going to be stuck staying at home. And so they're wondering, how does this affect console release and sales? How does this affect getting games in people's hands? All of the release dates we currently have planned, all of our announcements as well. And so when we find out there's not going to be any 3, I immediately think of that, potential Mario, big bang booth of just like, yay, or just whatever party Nintendo was planning on throwing. That's not going to happen. But it's weird for the digital event that since 2013 has been a digital event for Nintendo not happening, when a lot of companies are falling back on that. And so I think that's what's fascinating to me. Just from a business perspective, do you think this should still happen this summer, Ian, or just it's, because you were talking a lot about, press conferences, and you're just like, why spend that much money? Everybody should have digital events. And here Nintendo is struggling, allegedly, with producing one of these things.
Well, I mean, something I was thinking about too is like, okay, this gives us insight into the lead time they give themselves to make a direct, probably 2 months, month and a half. Because they feel comfortable enough at this amount of time out saying we're not going to do one, which means like this is the decision moment. They would have normally had it locked together probably this far in advance. But I think in this case, I just believe them at at face value. Like, I think because of COVID, they don't have, like, the games that they hoped to have to show aren't there. So they're like, we're not going to do a video. Because to me, like, I would rather have all these companies say, we'll do something for Gamescom, August, whatever, when we actually have things, than give like a lackluster performance. Like, I don't know business wise if it would impact all that much, but like, definitely, I mean, we've all seen lackluster press conferences and they're not fun. So it's like, I would rather have them just delay and not do them than throw together a slapdash thing just because they felt they had to, like an obligation. Yeah. And I mean, as far as the ESA goes, like, clearly these companies aren't feeling a sense of obligation to them. So, which I don't think they should. But yeah, I definitely the right call in this scenario. And yeah, kind of like Huber said, like, hey, take as much time as you need. Like, I want to play these Mario bundles on my Switch, but I'll play them, in 2021 instead of holiday 2020. Sure, whatever.
You were talking about potentially working at Nintendo, Blood. Say you are working at Nintendo. Let's even go further than that. Blood, you are Nintendo, okay? What do you just ghost June? Do you announce, because they did say on March 26th, the last time that they released a video, due to COVID-19, release dates and other information are subject to change, which does aligns to whatever, everyone's life right now, but especially potentially makes, this situation make sense. Do you release a statement beforehand saying, hey, we know you guys might be expecting this, we're not going to do something in June, or just we'll do a direct? Because fans freak out when there's not directs, and Nintendo sometimes seems to just be like, we showed up later and there it was, what you were expecting. We'll just do it when we're ready to do it.
No, I think they'll communicate one way or the other, whether they do a smaller thing or whether they focus on a couple of games or whether they just say, no, it's going to be later. They're probably going to communicate that because it is expected in that time frame, I think. And I also think that they, now that they have these reports out there, I think there's going to be a little bit more pressure to say something about what's happening. So, yeah, we'll see. And it could be as simple as like they announce a date for the next thing, and the next thing isn't until 4 or 5 weeks after you want it to be. It could go that way too.
Yeah, because I mean, like, this verges back on the cultural, like, speculation kind of thing, but it's like they seemed to always take pride in the directs. Like, they're always a very nice presentation, like often have a person on green screen, like a white void, talking at the head and tail of it. But they did do like location shoots with Reggie in his office and stuff. So yeah, I think that they would delay until it's safe enough that they could do a Skeleton Crew shoot that they were proud of as a company before they would even maybe say a date. So yeah, I would be surprised if they said like, we'll do one in July or whatever, I think they'll say like, as soon as we're able, we will, let you know.
What was it? Wasn't the last one like the shortest lead time we've ever gotten on a direct? It was like 8 hours or something.
Night before, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to get to a point where they send out a message and they're like, you already missed it. It happened.
Yeah. Half an hour ago, it started on Twitch.
We have one company potentially exiting the stage, another one announcing they're going on the stage, Xbox, to reveal games for the Xbox Series X. Blood, I think I wrote down the wrong date. I wrote July 17th, but that's not right.
No,
Isn't it coming up
May
soon?
7th.
May 7th, that's right.
May 7th.
All
May
I remember
7th.
is that it's 8 a.m.
Assassin's Creed will be revealed.
I think so.
That's better than
Guaranteed.
Nintendo 6 a.m. calls, though.
Yeah.
This is true.
The official Assassin's Creed Twitter posted the Xbox version of the Assassin's Creed cinematics. So, judging by that, I feel like the gameplay reveal is
Sure.
definitely going to be a big part of that.
Yeah. And I think some people internally at Ubisoft, I think, I saw one person at Ubisoft whose header was the Xbox event.
Got it.
So it was like,
Got it.
there we go.
Some strong clues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Do you think that's a good amount of time? Do you think Assassin's Creed seems to be that franchise? It's always kind of the question, like where it's going to show up, and they have kind of favored Xbox as of late. Is that good timing, you think, with the trailer today? For more gameplay.
Oh yeah, one week later, yeah. Speculate, sit on it, build the anticipation.
Assassin's Creed is.
Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, like they're one of the ones that like they'll bounce between different press conferences. Like you got this demo here, and then over here's your ship combat.
It continues, yeah.
They like to just kind of carpet bomb with their reveals. So.
Well, and also like it's nice that they got to put the trailer out themselves and it wasn't leaked.
Yeah.
Like Ubisoft loves having leaks.
Serious.
Speaking of expectations, though, Hubert, this will be an episode of Inside Xbox, which those have been
expectations lowered.
Well, I would love. This is a beautiful opportunity then for Ubisoft to take the deep dive into the changes, and this is a series with passionate fans. Like everyone has like really passionate thoughts about this series, whether it's like wanting different combat or wanting just for them to get rid of all the modern day stuff. Like here's their chance to speak to us and tell us what's going on. So
Ben, visually, do you think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be a good showcase for the Series X? Do you think it's going to be a franchise that we're going to be looking at this gameplay and be like, oh my goodness, that's the Series X I've been waiting for?
It's hard because I wonder if this is a moment where my own preferences may not be in line with what a lot of people want, where I feel like this new Assassin's Creed game is drawing a lot of attention. And like I kind of said, like it's just having been through so many Assassin's Creed announcements and not being as invested in the series, it's not that exciting for me. But obviously this series has a huge reach. People seem very excited about it right now. 1 week later, big gameplay reveal. I think it fits a lot of the qualifications for a showcase game. Yeah.
It will not be the only game there. They said there will be gameplay reveals. I love too that Hubert. This just goes right in with you. We talked about cinematic trailer. I had my moment, but I mean it's gameplay reveal right up there on the logo for the event. Man, they're specifically talking about. It's not like we're gonna have more game announcements. Some more trailers, some more titles we can talk about. They specifically said gameplay reveals and specifically global developer partners. So these will most likely be entirely third party. So no Compulsion Games, no In Exile Entertainment, no Obsidian, no Playground, no Double Fine, no Halo. Presumably.
I mean, Hellblade's got to be there.
Yeah,
Hellblade's got to be there.
Hellblade, they're gonna. That's the graphical showpiece for the Series X is Hellblade.
But Hellblade's not third party.
Well, they own it now, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've already seen it. So
maybe Hellblade gets its own.
Do you want? Yeah. Does Hellblade come back, or are they like, no? We are focusing. It seems really like this is all going to be new stuff. It's all going to be either games we haven't heard of or games we haven't seen playable yet.
Well, we haven't seen gameplay.
It doesn't say partners. It says global developers. Global developers partner. Yeah, it's a weird word.
Developers partners. Yeah, it's specifically the two S's. I took the S out. I'm doing some corrections on
the husbands
Microsoft.
And wives of everyone's of the developers.
Right. Dear friends, relatives. But because it's third party, are we just going to waste time on this podcast trying to predict what the heck that's going to be? Is there any clues, anything?
I mean, I'm there for Assassin's Creed. Like everything else is a bonus to me, so it's already a win in my eyes.
Global. I'm gonna go out a little bit, slightly on a limb. I'm gonna say we'll see Final Fantasy VII Remake. What it looks like on the Series X.
Whoa.
Because you got a good comparison. You've got a couple of months. It's still going to be a while before that's actually out.
It's just a trailer of that door. And they just rotate around the door.
Pirate's door.
Series
It just zooms in on it.
Series X.
It does the crossfade thing.
Yeah.
And you just have Final Fantasy VII battle music blaring.
Ben, I'm 28 hours into Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not just that door.
No, I know. I'm just making a joke, but
there are several doors.
Yeah. Door compilation. Yeah.
Door montage.
Will we see Elden Ring then? If it's third party.
Why are you doing this to me today, Ian? What's your problem?
I mean, like, where better than a console
Right.
reveal, right?
True. Absolutely.
I want to just be so excited and think anything is possible, but again, talking with Twitch chat today, they were like, maybe don't get too excited. Don't place your expectations too high. So I don't know. I'm in this weird place where I'm not sure how to feel.
Well, if we could do like rub a magic lamp right now, Ben, and I could offer you two possibilities. You can't have both. You can only have one or the other. In one hand, I got some spicy exclusives. Okay, some really interesting game reveals, some announcements that are gonna blow your mind. The gameplay they're gonna show, it's all right. But we're gonna walk out of that thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't know these projects exist, or I didn't think we were gonna see the things playable yet. On the other hand, I have a truly impressive graphical showcase of the power of the Xbox Series X. The games themselves are not that exciting, but the gameplay that I'm seeing is really showing what this console's capable of. What do you want? You can
Okay,
pick one
sorry.
or the other.
Run that by me one more time. So
Hot titles, hot names, hot properties, but the gameplay's meh. Or the titles are like whatever, but man, look what the next gen's gonna look like. Holy cow, here we are, we made it.
I don't know. I guess I probably am more interested in the gameplay because I think in terms of like graphical prowess, I think we're at a point where that might be a little bit harder to do if the games themselves don't look that interesting. Like I think in a way next gen has to prioritize like the quality of the games and just the way that they've been framing it, like what we're going to be able to do with these games in terms of size and scope. I don't know if like graphical showcase is really going to be the seller.
Yeah, Ben, I agree with you 100%. I feel like the next gen tech it's not visual anymore. It's feel the faster load times, feel the vibes of, the immersion, right?
Right.
Or even something like, like a lot of the times, one of the issues you run into is like pop in or like enemies in the distance, like animating roughly or whatever. It's like, what if you just have like this big battlefield and there's just tons of enemies, like as far as the eye can see, up like not quite like a 99 Nights style, but you can just see a lot more in the distance, a lot more clearly, because there's so much more that you can load in at any given time.
Blood, how much power do you think Xbox has over what each of these third-party developers is going to show specifically? Like, I imagine they're very involved in, how these games are going to look, obviously how they're going to run, offering support technically to making sure that these developers can get the most out of it. But, like, specifically, like, what chunk of the game you're going to show? Do you think the power rests more in Microsoft or in those third parties?
I think it still rests on the third parties for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much that they can do to prepare a demo, and and those teams have to make all those decisions. Those directors have to make those decisions, and even internally, like the higher ups might not know. I think that like when we watched that God of War documentary and they went through that, talked about that whole process of creating an E3 demo. It's like it's pretty eye opening. There's a lot of insights to figure out like how that's going to work, and it's you're sort of flying by the seat of your pants.
And Ian, you have talked a lot about how you want a lot of these companies to go digital, and this is going to be very interesting to see like how the Microsoft's going to produce this sucker. What are your expectations? Do you have any ideas about like how they could do it? Is it going to be Phil Spencer has recorded a video of him in his living room. I have seen this, and it's glorious. Are we going to get a little bit of that? Are we going to get green screen? How are they going to do it?
I think it'll feel a little like well, there are two avenues they can do, right? They can do state of play where it's just trailers with some VO, which you could do from home, or it's SNL where it's like you get everyone to film their own little bit on their couch. My guess would be Phil Spencer opens and closes it, or I should say opens it and then does the one more thing, and the rest is just gameplay stuff, maybe shot by the developers or VO'd by the developers if there's talking, but I don't know. I bet it's just boom, boom, boom.
it's tough because it's an Inside Xbox episode.
They
So
have
it's just
hosts.
like
That's
them
right, I
standing on
forgot.
tall stools with not a lot to say is just like how those go, you know?
I
It's just
forgot
gonna
that they
feel-
have hosts.
It's
I
just gonna
forgot
feel
about
odd. It's gonna
So
feel
it's
very
got to
strange.
be the hosts then, right? It's got to.
Who knows? It doesn't got to be anything. If
Well,
there's any
right.
lesson that we've had from this episode of these Odds podcasts,
Replace
it's leave your
replace Phil
expectations at the
Spencer
door.
then. Well, Phil Spencer will make an appearance, but the hosts will interject between everything then.
right.
But from their houses.
We shall see.
And they'll be awkward, like, Vanessa, what do you think? And then obviously pre-recorded, but like they'll toss to each other.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of talking over demos
Thanks,
about
Phil.
periphery subjects.
And maybe they'll do some Zoom gimmicks where it's like someone like if they're gonna talk about
I
the like
hope.
remote play functionality or something, like it'll be like this,
what
and
is-
like
what's
the
the
dude
Microsoft?
throws a controller over to some, and then the controller flies into their
Right.
shot. You know,
Yeah. We
What's
can
the-
only hope. You to your left, Ian. High five. To your left.
which way's
Yep.
my left?
Yeah, boom. There you go. All right. That is it for our main headlines this week. Also this week, 12.3 million players watched a Travis Scott concert in Fortnite, a record for the game. Who thought we were going
I-
to be having Fortnite records in 2020?
I
But
saw
here we
some-
are.
I saw some clips of that. It was pretty cool looking.
And like the first of 3 or 4 or 5, there's going to be more
Wow.
from him. Google Stadia now offers a free trial, no longer called Stadia Base, just called Stadia. They dropped the base.
I
Last
think
of Us
at
Part
this
2.
point, Stadia might need to start paying people to play it.
Yeah.
It would need to be a job.
Well, that's a
Especially-
stimulus. That's a stimulus check everybody could use right now.
Well, especially with everyone's internet being like so slammed right now, it's just like,
Yeah.
hey, let's all play that thing that depends on the internet.
Last of Us Part 2 will launch on June 19th. There are leaks out there. Watch for them, everybody. Ghost of Tsushima will launch on July 17th. 160,000 Nintendo accounts were apparently hacked, which is not
Nice.
a huge number considering everybody that's on there, but, you know, might want to check into that double authentication and, be careful as usual. WWE 2K is skipping 2020, as they probably should. I don't know. Weren't sales okay? Weren't sales, like, not terrible?
Game is
they have-
gross. The last one. It's
They have an honor
broken.
system just like Ubisoft. There is. We've learned how low they can go. Sony patented a spoiler blocking feature to prevent spoilers for its players, which is cool. Be interesting to see how that plays out.
But you can
Indivisible-
manually turn it off,
Yeah,
which is, I mean, I guess
yeah.
makes sense.
It's tracking what you've seen in the game. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
It knows
Challenge
what you've
accepted.
seen in the game, so somehow somebody puts their API on a forum, and if they're talking about stuff that you haven't gotten to yet, then it'll spoiler it.
Cool.
Indivisible launched for Nintendo Switch, and Lab Zero had no idea it was going to. GDC Summer will now be an all-digital event. Darkborn, aka Project White from The Outsiders, has been put on hold indefinitely. They said they might do it again later, but they've moved on to another game. And in jolly news, the LA County Museum of
No.
Art put several of their pieces into Animal Crossing. You can actually go from the museum itself. I mean, obviously, people can just grab whatever image and make it into whatever in Animal Crossing. But
The Met did that too.
Yeah.
Dude,
Love it.
Project
If you wanna
White
get that
looked
official art.
so sick.
Yep.
That's upsetting news.
It's put on hold. Sorry, Huber.
Yeah, listeners just missed out on the like devastated silent no that Huber just did.
That
Huber,
hurts.
I got something that'll make you feel better.
Okay.
It's time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
From Zach Wojnar. I love couch co-op. I subscribe to the notion that there are no bad co-op games. Haze, love it. Fallout 76, having a blast dragging my brother through the game. I was planning to stream a playthrough of Aliens Colonial Marines with one of my best friends who loves Alien but isn't hip to the gaming scene. Once the quarantine lifts, I'm going to tell him the Colonial Marines is revered as one of the greats and see how he reacts once the true terror sets in. Anyway, my question is, have you ever dragged a friend kicking and screaming into a co-op game they didn't want to play? Or have you ever struggled through a game you hated because a friend really wanted to have a good time with you? Love and respect, Zach Wojnar. Yeah, Huber, I'm looking at you.
I have forced Bradley Ellis to play some pretty bad video games over the years. The highlight has to be Kane and Lynch.
Oh,
Specifically
Over Army
number
of
2. Yeah, Kane and Lynch 2 specifically. Brad was so mad, but I just kept saying, I was like, man, the game's only 5 hours, dude. We're almost done. We gotta get through it, man.
yeah,
And all the Army of Twos, yeah.
Yeah, the Army of Twos, particularly like the further you got in. What was it? what was the one of the later ones where
The
it's just
cartel.
like yeah, there's like cartel and there's all this craziness. Were you the one that I pulled in for that?
Probably.
Or was it Plessis? I don't remember. But man, what a mess of a game.
Yeah.
I know, Huber, you and I both love Resident Evil Resistance 2, and then Brad or Omar will always, Revelations, sorry, will always like chime in like, well, it's not as good if you're the second player.
Totally. Brad's like, yeah, I guess it was fun. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Or I'm like having a blast.
Yeah.
I remember Lord of the Rings: The Third Age was like, we were excited. My buddy and I were excited to play it because it was co-op. It was a co-op turn-based game, which is rare. It's cool that you can play like a turn-based game and control, pick, swap characters. I can see who he's playing, and we're picking options, in real time. But it was like we had to like finish that game. It wasn't something where it was just like, woof, that game was fun. It was about 60% through. We were like, are we gonna fit? We should finish it. Yeah, that was rough. Gameplay wise, lore wise, it didn't make a lot of sense. And I remember back in the day at Game Trailers, one of the first couple years of Game Trailers reviews, we got X-Men Legends 2 and like went to the store to buy beer for that game. And like all sat down. I had like 3 other editors, and we were just like, tonight, and we didn't beat it in one night, but like we stayed up as late as we possibly could. I think I played the rest of it single player, but it's the only time I've purchased alcohol specifically for a review. Ben, any co-op memories?
I don't know if I've ever like drugged somebody against their will for co-op, but I do distinctly remember I had this college friend. We decided to play Resident Evil 6 together, and we did the Leon, Jake, and Chris campaigns together, and like started off as like joking around and fun, and then just like getting increasingly more irate at the game and just agitated over like days of playing the different campaigns together. That definitely happened.
Fabian Arafin, due to having more time at home and not having a PS4, I've had the opportunity to replay games I enjoyed. I played and fully finished Pillars of Eternity and then started Pillars of Eternity 2. When I played these games many years ago, I was a hero and a nice person. This time, my attempt was to be evil. However, the characters condemn my actions and get upset if I go too far. My willingness not to disappoint anger my companions ached me so much that my evil character only comes off as basically a money-seeking sellout. Maybe it's the influence of games like Undertale that got my sense of morality in games looking different. My question to the allies is, has there been a game where there are multiple choices and your attempt to see all choices fails because it'll hurt somebody else? Am I too emotionally attached to imaginary characters? Ben, as somebody who has experienced both Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, did you ever run into these problems or in any of the other many RPGs you played?
I actually really like it when RPGs push back like that. I like when you are just... You make a clearly terrible decision, and your party member is like, "No, I can't stand for this." I don't like it. I think it gets annoying, and there are games that I adore to my core that do this, but I think it's more interesting if a game pushes back. Right? It's always kind of weird when everything bends to your will to like a ridiculous degree, where it's like, no, like this is not okay. Like there should be some disagreement here. So. Yeah, no, it doesn't really bother me. In fact, I think it's good if it's handled well.
I remember during Goaty discussion, Huber, we talked about Outer Worlds, and specifically, I think it was like the same moment where, what is her name? Your first companion that you meet.
Body?
Yeah.
Hermione.
Where she, like, just right, you were literally, like, gonna do the thing, and she just boop, stops. And it was just, like, it was not only interesting to have that counter opinion, but specifically right in that moment. Like, I was ready to go. And I eventually made the same decision that I was planning on, but it was like, they got me. The writing really did get me in that point to really stop and be like, well,
and the gold standard, in my opinion, debatable, but the gold standard to me is like The Witcher 3, where you are dead set on something. You're walking, like you were saying, Jones, you're walking into a situation, you think you have all the answers, you're ready to go, ready to commit, and then just some conversation, they pull at your heartstrings.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Ben, I love when games push back like that, dude. I love that. That's my favorite thing ever.
A recent example that fits this for me in a surprising way is Animal Crossing New Horizons, because it's like I like worry that my animals are unhappy.
Yeah.
And like, if I give them a gift that they don't like, I'm just like, shit, I don't know Rolf. He didn't like my socks. He's wearing a jacket. Why didn't he like the socks? And like, and I'm my sister is trying to get a Switch because she wants to play Animal Crossing, and I'm worried that she's gonna agonize over when an animal asks if they can leave, which I gather all the animals do at some point, one time or something, whatever.
Yeah, more than
Because I know she's gonna feel bad that she let them down to make them want to leave,
Right.
but she won't want to like enforce her will on them to make them stay. So she's just gonna get this like abandonment complex from these animals, I'm afraid, because I experienced that, but I make them all stay because I like them.
I streamed
But,
Animal Crossing this
yeah.
week, and I talked to one of my villagers when I was in town, and they said, "I haven't talked to you in a while," and I felt totally seen. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know, like, look, I do my best, chat, but I don't know, I didn't, you know, Tammy was somewhere else. She's been busy the last couple days. I didn't.
The funny
Tammy's
thing
great.
is turning on the GameCube and you know, someone walks up to you and you're like, I haven't seen you in 83 months.
Cooped up in your house.
83 months.
You were writing the great American novel. I'm done.
Do you guys ever
It's
RP?
okay.
Do you guys ever RP so hard even when it's not an RPG? Like I was playing Dark Souls last year, just remastered, and I got to the DLC where like the Hawkeye Gao is like up on the thing,
Yeah.
and I remember when I left, turned around, shut the door for him. You know, didn't want to leave the door open.
Nice.
Just little things like. Do you guys do?
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Sometimes.
sure.
Every time I shut off Animal Crossing, I go to bed.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
nice.
stuff like that. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Like I walk to the bed and I go to sleep. You know?
Yes.
I agonize over how the decorations around all my villagers' houses, you know, just like, oh, I put this over here. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Let me move that over. And I'm like, it's not going to affect anything.
I love that stuff.
Just speaking of like a recent game, though, just kind of what you were talking, Ben, where like it feels weird when people don't interject, when they don't kind of stop you. Like just playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's definitely some
Yep.
moments where like we're about to do something, and I'm like, cool, okay, we're gonna do this crazy thing. Aerith, are you're cool with this? All right. You know, like I thought you might be. Maybe I don't know you as well as I thought I did. Like she's
Or
yeah.
the opposite, when,
She's a
when
wild
Cloud is just like an obnoxious dick for no reason, and then like Tifa will be like, "Isn't helping people fun?"
Yeah.
It's just like, did you not just listen to that conversation, Tifa? Like, what's
It's a
wrong
trademark,
with
man.
you?
It's a
This
trademark.
man is a psychopath. But yeah.
Morgan Mohala, let's play a game. Hello, panel. I looked up some figures and made a quick game for you. You simply choose the larger number. One will be game-related, the other will be outside of gaming. Love and respect, Morgan Mohala. Which number is higher? Number one,
Screwed.
the number of animal species in Red Dead Redemption 2, or the number of animal species at the LA Zoo? And that rhymes, which I really enjoy.
Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 2.
2.
Red Dead 2.
Gosh, you're all wrong.
LA Zoo.
LA Zoo 270. Red
Oh.
Dead 2 178.
Oh, step it up, Naughty Dog,
Yeah, what
Rockstar,
the-
whoever.
I will blame my ignorance on not having been to the LA Zoo, which I don't know why, because I go to zoos like everywhere else.
Oh, it's great. First time
LA
I
Zoo's
had
all right.
First time I had Milo in the holder in like a public space. Oh, public spaces. Remember those?
No.
We went to the LA Zoo at night, which is fun. They just like they put up all the Christmas lights and everything, and all the
Cool.
animals are asleep, of course. Like most of them.
The reason I said Red Dead 2 is it just seems like an, an article that somebody would write. Like,
Right.
Red Dead 2 has more animal species than the LA Zoo.
It felt like something they would brag about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you zoom in on some random bird, and it's like it has the exact like like everything you need to know, like the whole field guide entry for that bird in real life. Like, okay, I did not expect this.
I'm really happy
like
that you all
birds.
picked Red Dead, though. That means a lot to me.
For
Number
you,
two,
Joe.
Got to.
the number of Easy Ally patrons or the average number of garden snail teeth for a single snail.
Patrons.
Teeth?
I don't know.
I want to say snail.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
the
the
snail.
snail sounds
It's a snail?
amazing.
Snail
That's
teeth,
disgusting.
12,000.
What?
Easy
Step
Allies
it up,
patrons.
patrons.
And this number's fluctuating, currently around
Yeah.
8,800. But that's snail teeth. We got to get to snail blood.
Dude,
blood
snail tier. We gotta get
Yeah,
this
yeah,
snail.
yeah.
That's our
Can
new
you remember
gotta
this blood?
snail
Can
tier.
you post in because you update us more than others on our YouTube numbers and our big download numbers or view count, subscriber count. When we hit snail teeth numbers.
That's our new way to the top.
Yeah.
That's
We
gonna
gotta
be
hit
our new
snail
social
tier.
media
Tell
headline.
your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends we gotta beat the snail tier.
Yes.
$1 is all it takes to get us to snail tier.
We need like a snail mascot suit. I want to be a snail.
Yes.
It's a really sad snail with a bunch of
We're
teeth.
gonna have a drive sometime. We're all just gonna be snails.
The snail drive.
Snail
Number 3,
drive.
the number of dual-wield weapon sets in Dark Souls 3, or the number of undefeated sword duels won by Miyamoto Musashi, a 16th century Japanese philosopher whose style was to dual wield.
That one.
Wow. Probably that one.
That
I'm
one.
gonna go with Dark Souls.
It was Musashi. Undefeated duels, 61.
Blood
Yeah.
doubted Musashi.
Yeah.
Don't
Wow.
tell Musashi. Also, I was trying to think. There aren't that many dual wield sets in Dark Souls 3. I want to say there's like 20 or 30 tops.
That's that Japan knowledge I was speaking of, Ben.
Power stance.
Dual wield
Did
weapon
he-
sets, 14. 14
Oh,
to
okay,
61.
yeah, I was gonna
Come
say.
on, Come on now. Number 4, Pokemon's total lifetime franchise revenue or Walmart's annual revenue? Annual revenue.
Pokemon.
Well, we know Pokemon makes billions every year, but Walmart has to beat that.
Pokemon's total lifetime franchise revenue
Oh,
or
oh.
Walmart's
Pokemon.
annual revenue.
Okay,
How much
okay.
Pokemon's
Oh.
made in total or how much Walmart makes in a year?
Oh.
That comparison is.
Yeah, that
That's-
phrasing is weird, so I'm going to say Walmart then.
Okay.
Well,
I
what's
think
weird
Walmart.
I'm gonna
is
say Pokemon.
every Pokemon thing sold at a Walmart,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
gets
Hey.
Walmart some money.
Hey.
Morgan, we need some more information.
Hey.
But, Ben's
Probably-
Japan knowledge takes a hit. It is Walmart, 514 billion, which is more than 5 times Pokemon's
That's a year?
95 billion.
A year.
Jeez.
You can make a comeback, Ben, right here. Persona 5's main story playtime in hours, or the American average.
Wait a minute. Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal?
Persona 5's main story playtime in hours, or the average American life expectancy in years,
Which is higher? Persona 5.
which is higher.
Persona 5.
80 is the average American life expectancy, I believe.
Yeah, Persona 5.
It's Persona 5.
It's Persona 5, 97 hours. 78.87 years is the average American life expectancy, according to a 2019 census. And finally, number 6, Fallout 76's current Metascore, or the number of ice cream flavors at Baskin-Robbins.
Oh, the ice cream.
Please be the ice cream.
I'm gonna say Baskin Robbins, yeah.
Baskin Robbins.
Unfortunately, it's the Metascore, 52 to, of course, 31.
Man, they
Would be
got
great.
up.
Would be great.
I wonder if that's taking into account the Wastelanders update, because it said current Metascore.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Because I heard the Wastelanders was okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Conflicting
try
opinions
it.
out there. Ben, can you give that a try?
I actually do kind of want to try it, just to see. I'm just curious.
Emphasis on the kinda.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
kind
for
of,
some-
sort of.
For some good vibes right at the end here, Sean Forsyth. Hi, Allies. Greetings from Scotland. I just wanted to let you know how much Easy Allies has influenced my job as a high school art teacher. I began watching game trailers in early high school and continued to watch through art school as you became Easy Allies. This has been my first year as a fully qualified teacher, and I found different Easy Allies segments extremely useful in the classroom. I always liked having something silly at the end of my lessons that my students would look forward to, and Kill Your Babies seemed like the perfect fit. Of course, I had to call it something else, so it's been Last Game on Earth. Now, one student who I feel has made significant progress gets to remove a game from existence. This has made some very fun instances where one class will remove a game only for another class to come in the next day furious that Fortnite was taken off so early. I've now played the game with foods and movies too, and students were always excited to do well in class so they can play. And if I have an extra minute or two, the students will always enjoy a game of Ore Wars or a quick round of bets. Now we are in lockdown, I've had to move my teaching online. Having watched all of your engaging and entertaining content for so long, I felt confident in creating a YouTube show for all my students that involves new weekly art tasks, and it's gotten amazing feedback from parents, staff, and most importantly, the students. So thank you very much for all of your help, and I will no doubt feed on your creativity throughout my career. Love and respect, Sean Forsyth.
That's
I
amazing.
love that.
That is amazing.
I love
That is
that.
amazing.
It is. It obviously does resonate with me a lot too, because I'm feeding off of Kyle Bossman here. Like to literally just I'm just surfing on all of his creativity, writing that. straight into the
DGD,
sun.
Jones. GGD.
It's
That's
not
hard
over
to
yet.
say out loud.
It's not over yet. It's time for bets. Before we do this bet, we have to pick our new team names. Okay? I have a piece of paper here. Piece of paper's got a number on it. This is a number between 1 and 20. Ian Hink, Michael Huber, and Ben Moore, who are all going to be on their own team, along with Michael Damiani and Brad Ellis. I would like you to guess a number between 1 and 20. Ian.
17.
Huber. Oop,
You're muted,
I didn't hear
Huber.
4.
That. Okay. Ben.
Lucky number 7.
All right. The number was 6. Ben was closest, and Huber was closest after that. So, Ben, you get your pick, whether you would like to name the adjective or the animal for your team.
Animal.
All right. What's it going to be?
It's going to be the penguin, my favorite animal.
Huber, what's your adjective?
My adjective is jovial.
The
Is
jovial.
that an adjective?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We did it.
Did it.
I didn't want to think jolly.
The jovial penguins.
The
I
jovial
like it.
penguins.
My animal was also a pea bird. Puffins.
Oh.
That's
Puffins
funny.
are good. Puffins are good. I totally
Dude,
should have
jovial
got-
penguins feels right.
Yeah.
Jovial. What do penguins sound like? Aren't they like?
Let's hear it.
weird
Yeah,
sounding?
well, what do jovial penguins sound like?
Well, you got a week. Let's say you got a week
Okay.
to figure it
Okay.
out.
A lot of
All right,
squawking.
bets.
Yeah.
And I, right here on this piece of paper, have an adjective and an animal name, and Daniel Bloodworth has them as well. And I have a coin, which I will flip, and you will call when I flip it. Are you ready, Daniel Bloodworth?
Okay.
Call it.
Tails.
You got it. You get to name one or the other. What do you want?
Oh boy. Oh, I like both of mine.
Well, of course you do.
I do. I thought about it a lot. I'm gonna go with the adjective astonished.
The Astonished Scorpions.
Ah,
I like it.
I like it too.
I can
This is
picture
good.
them, just like.
Yeah. That's the thing. Okay, so you imagine like a tundra, and then like some penguins just kind of strolling along, and
We're
some
all like,
scorpions
"Yeah."
faced the opposite way, and it's just like going about a scorpion life, and then there you go. That's the matchup, folks. And I know, obviously we have to give credit where credit is due to the just powerhouse that
Board
was the
Arts.
Gorgeous Gorillas, which got a victory 2 years running. Half a year running, I guess. But we had a new moderator, a lot of new changes coming to the podcast, and so I figured it was only right to have new teams. And because I write the bet, I figured it was that kind of makes up for it be the 2 versus 3 on every episode. That like I get a little bit more time to think about it, so because I debated like should we have Ian on because then we got the 2, but then there's 2 other dudes who are on the podcast.
That
but-
seems like a fair compromise, Jones. I like it.
I said
We'll
I
see how
should
it goes.
switch teams every week, but
Well, we'll see. It's my podcast now. I can change any of this. But we also got a bet this week, folks. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I actually am curious. I posted on Twitter. Is it Valhalla or Valhalla? We'll see how that. Valhalla is currently winning, but we shall see. And of course, everybody is like, I studied this in college and it's this. And then like the next reply is like, I studied this in college and it's the other one. So we'll see. I'm from Norway and it's this.
yeah, my girlfriend's Norwegian. I could just ask her.
This,
I am
she
Odin,
replied.
and
She
it is
responded
this.
already.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
What'd she say?
Sophia's opinion and put it on the list. I might.
Which
Hey,
one
why don't
is-
I just go with what Sophia says? 3.1 million is where that trailer currently stands on Ubisoft North America's YouTube channel. Where will it be when we record our podcast next Thursday night? Ian Hink.
I think mine's wrong now, but I said 5.2 million.
All right.
I can't. There we go.
You just revealed the creepy Ian in the background. Let's do each team. Huber, what do you got? Let's do the teams first. Oh, you're muted again. Silent again.
But he actually
there
wrote
is.
it down this time.
11,285,000. Nice. Ben Moore.
4 million.
4 mil. Just creeping up just a little bit. Okay. And Daniel Bloodworth.
I'm pretty close to Huber. I'm at 11 million.
Oh, okay.
He's got the upside though.
I didn't creep up
Yeah.
too high. 7.5. There it is. Whoop, 7.5. So we see. Let me lock those in.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
But the thing is, folks, we didn't bet last week.
Uh-oh.
So if we're going to find someone to finish out this podcast, my first podcast, we have to do Or Wars.
He's drinking water.
My time of day is the dark time, a couple of deals before dawn, when the street belongs to the cop or the janitor with the mop, and the grocery clerks are all gone, when the smell of the
Or
Wars.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, who wants to go first?
Me, damn it! I get screwed with politics every time.
I kept politics out of this.
All right,
thankfully.
good.
Okay.
It was my number one drink. I took a lot of notes to be moderator of this podcast. Number one is no longer ask Ian. I don't know. Maybe 4 years from now, I'll be like, it's time. It's time to throw the politics
Hopefully,
back at Ian.
never mind.
Ian Hank,
Hey,
Isabel in Doom Eternal or Doom Guy in Animal Crossing?
oh, Isabel in Doom Eternal. Love to see her rip and tear.
Nice. Who's next? Who wants it? Who wants it?
I'll hit
I'll go.
next.
Oh,
Oh, I think Blood beats you just by a little bit, but you're next,
Yeah.
Ben. Blood, a boring inside Xbox or a drawn-out PlayStation blog post?
That's a good one.
I will go with that PlayStation blog post. I can skip real easy. Just skim the highlights.
Ben Moore, video game delays or event cancellations?
event cancellations. Because with video game delay, event cancellations right now. Okay, if I go to an event, I feel like I'm putting myself at risk. Not, it's safer to stay home and play a video game anyway. So don't delay them, so I can stay safe at home. There we go.
Nice.
Ward.
And finally, Michael Huber, Kyle Bossman or Brandon Jones?
Oh my gosh.
In what context? Let's see. Brandon Jones has something that just nobody can top. And what is that? The voice.
Ooh.
The one of a kind, smooth as butter voice. Sorry, Bossman.
Throwing Bossman under the bus already, I see.
But yeah,
Yep.
hey,
Yep. Not here to defend himself.
that's what I'm here to do every week. And for this week's shout-outs, shout out to Blue, Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Fanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, and Jesse Blue.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout
out.
That's pretty good.
That was my first shout out. You guys nailed that so hard.
That was good.
I'm moved. Thank you. Thank you. But, Ben, you offered a very nice comment for our community, for their safety. I definitely appreciate that. You have won Or Wars. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you'd like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in your head, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign-off. Note, no more Twitter handle, because what? What's it? You get them
Why
at the
not?
beginning. You get them at
Yeah.
the beginning. People know what they are.
Oh, you show them at the beginning.
I asked Kyle why he does it, and Kyle's like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's gone.
know.
It's over. But you still get those three. Take it away.
Can we
Okay.
do our MySpace page handle?
You missed your chance. The next podcast, you can spit it out anytime you want. Just not in the ending. Not relevant. Take it away, Ben.
Okay. Let's just go for it. So the video I want to promote is Daniel Bloodworth's wonderful Don't Skip. It's the first one that he's done. It's always exciting when somebody works on Don't Skips. It's a project I'm very passionate about, and it was awesome to see Bloodworth take his own style in it. He did a wonderful job. It's a great video. It's entertaining. It's informative. And Don did a wonderful job editing it, so shout out to them both. What are the sign off? Okay,
And reiterate and sign off.
okay.
Or popped
Deadly
in your
Pre-
head or disagreed with.
Deadly Premonition 2 will definitively be better than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And Sophie is our supreme ruler.
Do you all know my favorite way to start a podcast?
Loot boxes?
The Easy Allies would like to thank our Patreon podcast producers. We apologize in advance for all the ally names we are about to misspell and mispronounce. Blue, Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Jesse Blue. Walker Hope, Nick, Mark Dalga, Will Schmuck. Jan Tyson, Bradley Spees, Dave Red, Richard G. Flowers, Paolo Costabel, Jake Musser, Jay Shee, Zachary Wingate, Sigma, Neil Bruce, Robert Stoffel, Thomas Wigginton Jr., Chum Nguyen, Discarded Digit, Ali Cat, Ethan R.C., Mick Roper, Damnable Nook, Andrew Reif, Happy Gaming, Miguel Rivas, Valmar, Blue Water Blue Sky, Daniel Portillo, Jose Gutierrez, Alex AI, Rob Bob Will, Beaten Down Brian, Hayden Hargraves, Matthew Pauling, G. Levin, David Wen, G. Ken, Gary James, The Banana Forklift Killer, Marcel Markov, Catherine Lai, Todd Yurkovic, Stephen Last, Candy Coated Thorns, Hitman 47, Kelvin Hartanto, Rack, DRD 7 of 14, Matthew Holcomb, Oni Blackmage, Joachim Morovuo, John Santoro, Niz Klojgard, Jesper Lawson, Jordan Kirk, James Vitt, Sam Handrick, Stephen Thomason, Robert Crouch, Luke Bennett, Andy Drew, Neuromod, John Burns, Rickster EXE, S-Snake24, Mango, Richard Johnston, Mark J. Betters II, Steve Fallon, Roy Sung, Adam Henry, I'll Miss You the Most, Cal Bossman, Tim O'Keefe, Super 3D Cal, Accounts Payable, Jeffrey Ruchtenwald, Mikhail Aniel, Corey Jackson, Wavering Radiant, Ritz 1906, Noah Weinstein, V8 Dave, Christian Hundorf, Eric Gustafson, Paul Sway, Ulf himself, I Sun Chor, Christopher Santis, Strikeout NZ, Sandra and Richard Acero, David Boyarsky, Faraz Rizvi, Gali Gutierrez, Travis Ing, Pete Shoemaker, Reed Johnson, Manuel Thomas, Michelle Nubb, Mikey Mizek Novak, Kim Monk Vonderleif Hagensen Petersen, Alex Monaco, Paul Bishop, Modren, Zintrax, Marco Hernandez, Daniel Wong, Zoostick, V. Cura Ray, Don Turner, Sebastian Urban, Eddie Reisner, Sebastian Trier, Adam Sharonbrock, Evan Eng, Raymond Chow, Adam, Azazel Valkyrie, Junya Motomura, Ivan Ponce, Tuttle, Bjarnar Haraldsvik, Egg Stravaganza, Joshua Vanswall, Stephen Walther, Tense George, Colin Hoylman, Barry, Cyberboa, Forrest, Eric Maynard, Chase Caldwell, Momo Rashid, Remy Loisel, Rahiv Maharaj, Leon Keys, Chris the Pianist, Rerun, Ian Anderson, Philip Higdon, Furious Action Gamer, Nycrypt, Jai Aldiar, Robert I, Ivan Skogheim, C.S. Lewis, Ahmed Al-Rashed, Bonnie and Jason Connor, Jock, Travis Miosi, Mike Calvi, Alex Glass, The Fatty Show, Neo Bear, DanPan16, Wouter DeHaze, Malcolm Moschette, William Heaney, Not Jack, Mithers Strongbeard, Jana, Anthony Galvin, Ahab, Clay Roberts, Palkin Stirs and Stirs, Oru Gachino, Dakota Hayes, The Classiest Hobo, Misuki 211, Matt Karwoski, Liam Ahern, Jason Joint, Bunny Chen, Christopher A. Butler, David Kennedy, Materia Addict, Arthur Henrique Chinaglia, Culinary Stud, Nuno Amaral, Magnus Rasmussen, Joel Olson, Edison S. Prada Jr., Tim Mann, Sean Rowe, Haley Hill, Jay Potter, Crediar, Mauricio Fuentes, Jesse Fish, Gabriel Aberg, Zahid Hosseini Korami, Louis Ibarra, Lee Young, Alexander Zirianov, Morpheus, Brian Foster, DeLisi, Sean Cornett, Linson Wu, General Piet, Zio VGM, Matthew Migler, Andrew Smith, Andrew Stoke, Brandon White, Christophe Fatui, A Pack of Puppies, Michael Clendenan, Wenbo Shan, Hadi Ali, Aurelien Grenier, Trevor Thomas, Will Arrowwood, Michael Kozachenko, Awesome Express, Adam Lindsay, Corey Landega, Pablo Rodriguez, Timo Yeager, Alec Church, Ibrahim Sozer, Feber Gundam, Mike Hook 1, Carl Williams, Gustav Strombaum, Volker Bach, Russell Bateman, Lindsay Wells, Jason I, Rickard Enbaum, James Vest, Nefertiti Jenkins, Tyler Wallace, Joe Rutsky, Kyle Quintero, Jesse Vitelli, Jonathan and Amy Alconis, Quinn Riley, JC3, Jack Cullen, Logan Young, Vishal Singh, Paul Nolson, Isaac Swanson, Jameson Lapine, Max His Shame Turman, Jethrin, Bread Roll Art, Matt Ford, Joey Din, Splontot, Jordan Phillips, Ryan Wagner, Matthias Clare, Spencer Stevens, Jeffrey Murillo, Kevin Camposano, Trizac, Matt Ferguson, Jake in Japan, Sam Sorensen, Vincent Foliat, Madman Kevin, Michael Baloney, Michael Pliskin, Andy Marks, Tim Strothman, XWF Outlaw, Julius Garcia, Alex Lavanier, Gon Kef, Joel Short, Dimitri Zetas, Mazrim Tame, Ganzak009, Helen Y, Jameson Anderson, Daniel Fuchs, David Halverson, Travis Kukowski, Megadet, Bard91, Sneaky Gato, Blake Bonsack, W. Crusher, Line Crown 19, Tom Masterman, Jojo Denko, ZK, Jose Carlos Madrigal, Mr. Anarchy, Thomas Blaze Fauchereau, Andreas Risberg, Krister Lundmark, Anti-Ataraxia, Dreams of Caffeine, Michael Bisegli, Matthew Holmes, Alexander McEachern, Silent Consonant, Raymond Lee, Lars Berger, Marcel Giru 17 Froelich, Don Lee, Matthew Eden, Erdney Kutenau, Cabbage 92, Megan McDonough, Rainier Dennis Bautista, Nathaniel Austin, Ricky Cass, Glenn Olson, Natabia Ross, Allison Burt, Ryan Anderson, Dear Dream Studios, Jesse Wilkeson, Katie Garza, Michael Yao, Dan Sebring.